All right. Good morning, hopefully afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I'm going to do a video walkthrough of practice quiz number 2 for LT number 6, rational expressions. So let's get into it. Standard 6.1 is all about factoring. Really, factoring is the core of this whole learning target. So we got 3 problems up here to factor. Let's take a look. First one. First step, I always look for a GCF. So your first step is always look for the greatest common factor. Always, always, always. On this one, 3, 4, 21, I don't see a greatest common factor. Next. Well, I see I've got 4 terms here, one of which is a cubed. Xbox doesn't work so well. Xbox only works for quadratics. I see this cube. That's a hint. I might have to use something other than Xbox. In this case, grouping. All right. So for grouping, what I do is sort it into 2 groups. I've got this first group right here and my second group right here. Within each group, I'm going to look for a greatest common factor. So what's the greatest common factor between 3x cubed and 4x squared? Well, 3 and 4, nothing there. X cubed, x squared. So my greatest common factor is an x squared. If I factor that out, that means 3x cubed divided by x squared is 3x. Negative 4x squared divided by x squared is minus 4. Next, I look at my second group here. What's the greatest common factor of 21x and negative 28? I think that's 7. So I'm going to factor out a 7, which means 7 times 3x is 21x. Negative 28 divided by 7 is minus 4. The key for grouping is when you pull out that greatest common factor, do you see the same factor on both parts? Do you see this twice? Then pull this together, and you're going to get x squared plus 7 times our factor that's our common factor, 3x minus 4. And that is our final answer right there. All right. The next one, I see a quadratic. There's a pattern here, difference of squares. Maybe you remember it, maybe you don't. If you want to Xbox it, you can. If you remember the pattern, 4x plus 1, 4x minus 1. All right. If you do have to do Xbox, remember a times c, so it's negative 16x squared up top. The b value, there is no b, right? There's no x term, so this is just 0. Okay, so keep that in mind. For the third one, first step, always greatest common factor. Is there a greatest common factor here? Yeah, I see a 2. So I'm going to factor that out. X cubed minus 27. Here, I see there's an x cubed, and I see that 27 is a perfect cube. That's 3 cubed. So this is kind of like x cubed minus 3 cubed. So that's my difference of squares. So what's my difference of squares pattern? Same sign, minus, minus. Square the first term, multiply the 2 together, but the sign is opposite. So this would be 3x, and then square the second term, plus 9. And that's my final answer right there. Same sign, minus, minus, opposite sign, always plus. All right, that's standard 1. Let's move on to simplify. Guess what's the core of this? Simplify, all we got to do, factor. Factor, factor. So as I look at the top part here, I don't see a greatest common factor. If I were to factor the top part, it would factor down to 2x minus 5 times x plus 3. That bottom quadratic, x squared minus 3x minus 18, simplifies to x minus 6 times x plus 3. Now, to simplify, look for groups. What's the same on the top and the bottom? Where do you see groups that are being multiplied that are the same? I see here x plus 3, x plus 3. Those cancel out, so my final answer is 2x minus 5 over x minus 6. All right, let's look at the second one. X squared plus 10x plus 25. When I factor that, I find that is x plus 5 times x plus 5 over, on the bottom, factor 3x squared plus 14x minus 5. That becomes 3x minus 1 times x plus 5. Again, look for what you see. Where can you create giant ones? X plus 5, x plus 5. Cross those off. They cancel. So I'm left with x plus 5 over 3x minus 1. Final answer. All right. So on standard 6.3 and 6.4, let's flip it over. Now we're on to multiplying and dividing. Basically the same thing, but we just got another step here. All right. So we're going to do the same thing. First, let's factor this one on the left. 4x squared minus 1. We can factor that out to 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 1 over the bottom there is 2x plus 1 times x minus 3. Now, if you want to review how to factor these, like how am I getting to here from the original, I would recommend checking out Khan Academy. Look back at what we did at the very beginning of the semester on using Xbox to factor. Then on the other side, times 15. Greatest common factor, 2x cubed minus x squared. Greatest common factor there is an x squared, which would give us 2x minus 1. Now, where do we see things that are the same? Where do we see common factors? I see a 2x plus 1 over a 2x plus 1. And I can also factor (2x minus 1 over 2x minus 1). Okay? So what's left? I've got a 15 on top over x squared times x minus 3. Put those all together into our final answer. Okay? That's what's left. Second one. This time it's divide. Be careful. This one's multiply. The second one is divide. Be careful. With division, what do we got to do? First, we factor. Factor, factor, factor. Always be factoring. Top one simplifies to x minus 6 times x minus 4. On the bottom, greatest common factor, 10x squared plus 20x. Your greatest common factor is 10x. So that would be x plus 2. Then, division, what do? We flip and multiply. Don't forget to flip it. So we're going to multiply it. That means this x minus 6 is now on the bottom. On the top, what's our greatest common factor? 15x cubed minus 60x squared. 15 goes into both of those along with an x squared. 15x cubed divided by 15x squared is x. 60x squared divided by 15x squared minus 4. Now, again, let's start canceling things out. What do we see? Well, I see an x minus 6 and an x minus 6. I see an x minus 4 and x minus 4, but careful. They're both on the top. We're not dividing one by the other. The other piece we can look to cancel out is this x right here. I see an x on the bottom, and I can cancel out the squared on the top. There's still at least one x there, but I can cancel out one of them. Lastly, I see the 15 and the 10. All right. So let's think about this. We've got x minus 4 times x minus 4 over x plus 2. Those are our groups. What else is still on the top? That x. Now imagine I've got 15 over 10. What does that simplify to? 5 goes into 15 3 times. 5 goes into 10 twice. So that means 15 over 10 simplifies to 3 over 2. So our final answer here is 3x times x minus 4 times x minus 4 over 2 times x plus 2, excuse me. All right, let's go on to standard 6.4, the final one, adding and subtracting. So with these ones, it's all about finding a lowest common denominator. I see 2x minus 1 and x plus 3. On this side, I see x plus 3, x plus 3. So that means my lowest common denominator is going to be 2x minus 1, x plus 3, x plus 3. All right, so I got all those together. That's my lowest common denominator right there. That means I need to make this one, what's missing? One of the x plus 3's. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by x plus 3. Multiply the top and the bottom by that. On this side, what's missing? The 2x minus 1. I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 2x minus 1. And let's see what happens. So on this side, I'm going to get x plus 3 times 3x minus 2. When I do that, x plus 3 times 3x minus 2. If you do your area model if you need, I'm going to get 3x squared plus 9x minus 2x minus 6. Okay. And then for the second one, when I do x plus 5 times 2x minus 1, I'm going to get plus 2x squared minus x plus 10x minus 5. And that is all over my complete common denominator of x plus 3 times x plus 3 times 2x minus 1. Now let's simplify. Let's see what we got. Up top, I see 3x squared plus 2x squared, so that's going to give us a 5x squared. 9x minus 2x is 7x, minus x is 6x, plus 10 is 16x, minus 6 minus 5 is minus 11. And that's all over, again, our common denominator. Last step, can we factor this? Can we factor 5x squared plus 16x minus 11? Well, what goes into that? Is there anything that is going to multiply to negative 55x squared and add to 16? 55 and 1, 5 and 11. Doesn't seem like that's going to happen for us. So if that's the case, because we can't factor this to simplify anymore, our final answer stays here. Okay, that's our final answer. We would factor and simplify this if we could, but it looks like that top trinomial is not factorable. All right, last one. Last one. To find our common denominator, first thing we got to do, we got to factor. So let's rewrite these. So it's 6 over x minus 4, x minus 3, minus 5x plus 9 over x minus 3, x plus 1. So what's our lowest common denominator here? X minus 4, x minus 3. I see an x minus 3 is shared, but I need to get, looks like an x plus 1 on this side and an x minus 4 on this side, because our lowest common denominator is going to be x minus 4 times x minus 3 times x plus 1. So that means on this side, I'm going to multiply by x minus 4 over x minus 4. On this side, I'm going to multiply by x plus 1 over x plus 1. Sorry, it gets a little tight there. All right, multiply it out. What do we get? X plus 1 times 6, 6x plus 6. Okay. Now be careful here when it's a minus sign. Got to be careful. So I'm going to do it in parentheses first. 5x plus 9 times x minus 4 is 5x squared minus 20x plus 9x minus 36. And that's all over our common denominator of x plus 1, x minus 4, x minus 3. Now, be careful with this minus sign. That means I have to distribute each part. Okay, the minus sign gets distributed to each term. So now I've got 6x plus 6 minus 5x squared, negative minus 20x minus negative 20x becomes plus 20x. Minus 9x is minus 9x.
Specialty, it is a cold and blustery day. Perfect time to get a warm drink. The CRC Cafe opens at 8 a.m.
Good timing. Did you know about the CRC Cafe? You can't go. Sorry. Maybe one day. All right. So let's finish this off. X plus 1, x minus 4, x minus 3. Last step. Well, maybe. Let's see. First, let's simplify. So this whole mess on top, what do we got? Let's start with negative 5x squared. That's our only x squared term. X, I have 6x plus 20x is 26. Minus 9 is 17x. Then I've got plus 6 plus 36 is plus 42. And that is all over x plus 1 times x minus 4 times x minus 3. And there we go. I would check to make sure if this is factorable. I'm telling you this is not. So in that case, check to make sure it's factorable. If it is factorable, factor it, cancel. Otherwise, we are done. Thanks for working through practice quiz number 2 for LT6. Check the module for more review resources. Good luck.